Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Um, Everyone has been talking about the NFL players, and the NBA has gotten in it a little bit um, regarding the players taking a knee when the national anthem is played and showing great disrespect to our country, our flag, and our veterans. There have been a tremendous amount of people coming out criticizing the players. And also, there has been a tremendous resurgence, if you will, of uh, patriotic songs and patriotic themes on Facebook. I mean, it has been just fantastic. The overwhelming amount of patriotic things that have come out as a result of this. So therefore, I'm going to take a little bit different tact here, and I'm going to tell the NFL players that I would like to thank them for taking a knee when our national anthem played, um, because they brought out so much wonderful patriotic songs and patriotic videos. I mean, it's been just amazing and great. So I want to actually thank them for being, if you will, um, kind of foolish in doing that. Let me pull on up here to the next slide. And when I say thanks, uh, I'm saying thanks for all those patriotic postings and comments that took place as a result of what they did. So I want to thank them for that. Um, they have shown us that many of them are mentally challenged. I know that that's not true of all of them. I know there are some very smart football players. There's uh, some players, some NFL players with some amazing degrees. Uh, I mean, outstanding colleges and universities that they went through, tremendous grade point averages, graduated at the top of their class. However, some of them are just great athletes, and they're somewhat mentally challenged. Um, kind of like a very great athlete. I'm going to not mention his name. I'm sure that most of you who follow NFL and who's been a viewer of NFL for many, many years, I'm sure that most of you will know who I'm talking about. There was an NFL player who graduated from Oklahoma University, University of Oklahoma. He was a great NFL player. He couldn't even read a menu to order his food. Yes, he was a very physically talented individual. He was huge, played on the line for the Washington Redskins, I believe. Uh, a little mentally challenged, yes. How did he get through the University of Oklahoma, you might ask? Well, it's just like a lot of the colleges and the universities that they seek out these outstanding athletes and they give them special tutoring, and they kind of look the other way on the grades and so forth. That has happened a lot in the past. Still happens today to a great degree, although it's been cracked down on. So, for a large part, in colleges, in universities, and also in NFL and in all major types of athletics, that goes on. They're seeking good athletes. They're not necessarily seeking well-rounded individuals who are um, intellectually adapt, as well as being outstanding physical uh, players and being physically talented. So that's why that happens. You have quite a few people who are really, really good at playing the game, but some of them are somewhat mentally challenged. So I want to thank them for showing their disrespect. Their teams will suffer. The sponsors will go elsewhere. Some of the games will be boycotted, as will their sponsors. Their families will suffer, and their contracts will not be renewed. That is, if they keep up the crap that they have been doing. So, guys, just keep it up and see where it leads. I think that you're going to find that um, even though you love your teammates and you want to stand in solidarity with them, I think you're going to find that locking arms and kneeling with them and supporting them um, is going to be a very bad thing for you. Um, the college football player or the university football player that started this whole thing, who kneeled during the national anthem or took a knee during the national anthem, still hasn't been signed by any NFL team. Probably will never be signed by an NFL team. And I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for you guys that are doing this stuff. I mean, you're really out of line. There's other ways to get your point across. You don't have to do it on the football field. It's really not your venue. You're just a player. People go there to watch you play, not they don't go there to watch you show your ass, and they don't tune in on TV to watch you show your ass. You have lost a lot of fans, and a lot of you are being booed and will continue to be booed if you keep this stuff up. So, word to the wise guys, probably be best if you would knock it off. And what would really be great, and you'd really get a lot of support and a lot of well-being and well wishes if you would start apologizing for some of the stuff that you have done. So thank you for giving us a glimpse of how stupid and ungrateful you can be. You who have been given so much, making lots and lots of money. Some of you have $1 million contracts. Some of you don't make anywhere near that. I know that. If you're a good running back or a good quarterback, you're making the big bucks. If you're on the line, a tackle on the line, then you're not making anywhere near what those big time players are making. But you're still making a lot of money compared to what most people make in this country. So you really have been given a lot, and you're really being very foolish by what you're doing. And also, you're putting it all in jeopardy. You're putting your families in jeopardy, your team in jeopardy, and people are not going to put up with it. So, a word to the wise, once again, you need to kind of knock it off. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for your teams. I feel sorry for your wives and children and your parents. And I think some of your parents would take you over their knee and give you a spanking that you really, really deserved, if they could. And I'm sure your wives and your children would say, listen, Dad, we got a family here to think about, and what you're doing is putting our family in jeopardy. So mostly I just pity you, and I feel sorry for for your teams and your family, your wives and your children. Yes, you're very physically talented. Yes, you're good football players, but mentally challenged, and you're not really thinking this thing through at all. So you do have the right to show your ass. You do have a right to disrespect our flag and our country and our president and our leaders. You have the right to do that. I mean, anyone has the right to do that. But you need to realize that just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that you should do it, or you ought to do it, or it's a good idea to do it. You have a right when the national anthem plays to get up and pull down your pants, as long as you're wearing underwear, of course, and show your ass. I mean, that is your right. And if you want to do that, that's fine. Just see how long your contract lasts, and just watch your contract not being renewed, and just watch your family go hungry and starve because of your actions. So you need to start thinking about these things. And what is your cause? What banner do you wave? Injustice? Are you really kidding me? That is your cause. Well, I hate to tell you this, but that injustice that you are protesting is really what made you great and strong. Otherwise, you'd be weak and couldn't do what you do. The fact that your family has had it tough, that your parents had it tough, that your grandparents had it tough, that your great-grandparents had it tough, that has made them strong, and that strength has been passed on genetically to you. So I don't care whether you're black or you're white. It makes no difference whether your ancestors were slaves or whether your ancestors were plowing the field with a horse. Some poor white a family or farmer who had to work his butt off to make a living for his family. You're all strong because of injustices that your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents suffered. Elsewise, you'd be weak. If you give a person everything, if you take care of them, and they don't have to work and they don't have to struggle to survive, they are going to grow up being weak. And that weakness is going to be passed on to their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So injustice, you're protesting injustice. Well, injustice is what has made you strong and will continue to keep you strong. So you ought to be thankful of where you came from, and you ought to say, thank goodness that my family and my ancestors experienced injustice. Thank goodness, elsewise I wouldn't be where I am today and making the money that I am today. And locking arms and taking a knee together, that's very foolish, guys. The thing about it, I realize you want to support each other and that you're team members and you have a certain compassion and feeling for each other, and you want to have solidarity with each other. But conspiracy, I mean, that's conspiracy when you do it together, when you lock arms and when you start joining together to show this disrespect. It's conspiracy. And 90% of our jails are full of people who have pled guilty to conspiracy. I mean, the bottom line is every time you take a knee, that is a, if you will, that is a count in when you want to talk justice. And if you do that 20 times, then you have 20 counts of disrespect. And I want to tell you, there are federal laws that you could be brought up against. And since there's a whole bunch of you doing this, The only thing that has to happen is one of you plead guilty. And if one of you pleads guilty, then that shows that a crime was committed, and everybody else that has joined in, whether they plead guilty or not, they're going to be found guilty and they're going to wind up in prison. So think about that a little bit, guys. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Your contract's not being renewed, possibility of charges being brought against you. Is it worth it? So you need to, when your teammates, if they want to kneel, that's fine. But you need to stand up and put your hand over your heart and show the respect that our flag and our country deserve. So your names are not important. I don't care who you are. I'm not taking your names down. Our country and our flag is important. Our veterans are important. Many of them who are walking around with no legs or one leg, they are important. They need to be honored. They need to be respected. And the people who have died and given their lives for this country and our flag so that you can have the freedoms that you have, they need to be respected. They're important. You're not important. You're just showing your ass, and you need to show that you are responsible and quit doing this, and you need to apologize for what you have done. And the only thing I have left to say is God bless the USA. Thank everyone for listening. And once again, God bless our country, our flag, our president, our leaders. God bless the USA.